Lucirin is flying over the Treemonth Night, and he's flying right alongside the coasts, so Arkan's moon is glimmering nicely off the water. And as he's flying, he seems a little happier. When he fought the beast, he seemed kind of scared at one point, but for the most part, he was very in control and very just bored or kind of burdened. But the wind in the air it makes him feel a little bit more alive. He flies over to what looks like just a crest of volcanoes and mountains, and as he flies through, he starts to dive deeper. It's kind of a mirage, and it shimmies, and he flies into this vibrant, enormous city. Now, this city is called Lingutektan, and it's the one city that the Quarith inhabit. It's a complete secret to the rest of the world. Lucirin is the only human privy to this knowledge. And he flies to one of the pyramids, and he gets off Panoa, and Panoa just sort of makes her bed on the pyramid. Lucirin looks, rather tired. He could remind you of sort of an overworked office employee. And he walks straight up to the top of the pyramid, where there's a fire in the middle of the pyramid, and there are Quarith praying, and there's a book being written with an inkwell and a feather. No one's writing anything. It's just being written on its own. He opens up a secret passage, and he walks down it, and in there is this chamber with all these interesting artifacts. There's bull horns, there's a tiger head, there's all these things just mounted on the walls, and a single slab of a bed. It's just some concrete and some hay, and he just falls to it and just falls straight asleep. While Lucirin's dreaming, he starts to have a vision. He envisions this voice, and it's not the same voice as before. This voice is male and deep, has some weight to it, and it starts chanting this hymn over and over again, first starting off really slow and really unreadable, and then he starts to be able to hear it. It just sounds like it's screaming at him, and that's how he wakes up. He gets up and grabs his clothes, and he empties his sack, and he seems to know exactly what to grab. It's just automatic. He knows what his next mission is, and no one has told him yet. And from there, he grabs a bow. He takes the kneecap, which is what he took before. He also grabs a few other trinkets and throws them in the bag. From there, he goes up from his cavern to the top of the pyramid and mounts Panoa again. And he flies over to this green, kind of living-like ship and hops aboard. And the Quarith don't even say anything. The Quarith are a very quiet race. They do not talk very often. They just seem to know exactly how to communicate with each other just by looks or not even that. And they start manning the ship and start flying off. From there we see Lucirin and the wind hitting his face again, and you see a slight smile once again. But it's very short-lived, because as he starts to embrace the wind in his face, he's attacked and his ship starts to wreck. So he mounts Panoa and flies toward where the blast came from.